Peace be upon you and God's mercy and blessings. Welcome back, everyone, and I welcome you all again. I'm coming back to you. Is there anything unclear about the part we discussed before the Maghrib prayer regarding creating sessions? If there are any questions before we move on, that's fine. The second part that we will look at together now, everyone, is that we just saw the part about creating the session. We learned about creating the session with its settings and details, and we also went over how to extract reports, and we will talk about that again. Now, the part we have in front of us is managing the session. Managing the session from within. When we are present live, there is a connection between the instructor and the students. In this case, as you can see, you enter any of the sessions and join the session. After you join, the session opens up for you in the way you see it. The part that is in our hands now is managing the session. Managing the session from within when we are present directly is between us, between the professor and the students in this case, as you have seen. You all enter any of the sessions and join the session. After you join, the session opens up for you in the way you see it. It opens up for you just like you see it. The first thing that matters to us here is the language. The language within the session can be Arabic or English. Where can I change the language? I can change the language from something called My Settings. If you all can see, from My Settings, I can change the language. I click on My Settings, and then I have it here. All right, I click here on My Settings. Is the screen clear here? Is the screen clear for you all? The first and foremost aspect that holds significance for us in this context is the language being used. The language options available within the session can be either Arabic or English. Could you please guide me on where I can change the language settings from? I can change the language from something called My Settings. If you all can see from My Settings, I can change the language. I click on My Settings, and then I have it here. All right, I click here on My Settings. Is the screen clear here? Is the screen clear for you all? In my settings, I choose this gear icon. Then, when I click on my settings, three options appear: audio and video, announcement, and session settings. We focus on session settings for language changes. In session settings, there's default language. You can choose English or Arabic. Currently, it's display mode, enable for all, enable for coordinators in Arabic. If you prefer English, select it as the default language. The language here, we can change the language from these session settings. In the session settings, there is default language. You can choose English or Arabic. Currently, it is display mode, enable for all, enable for coordinators in Arabic. If you prefer English, select it as the default. The language changes to English. Now gallery view and default language are in English. Return to default language to switch back to Arabic. Set the language to Arabic or English as needed. Some of us say, no, I want it in English, so I come here and select that. All right, this is Arabic. I come here and choose the default language to be English. You will see that the language here, I switch to English, and now I have the gallery view and the default language set to English. I come back here to the same place in the default language and select Arabic, and it will switch to Arabic. So, the first thing that matters to me when I enter is to set the language to either Arabic or English, depending on your needs for this part. Also, one of the important things is this shape here, which is the three dots that I'm marking in red. Three straight lines stacked on top of each other through this. As soon as I enter here, the first thing I can do is what? Start recording, because I want to record. But before I just start recording, I need to make sure my microphone is working before I start recording and hit the record button. So, where can I check the microphone? You all see this icon here? This icon is the microphone symbol. If I press this microphone now, you can see that its frame is green and the audio feedback is in white. I'm going to turn it off now, so my voice won't be heard by you, but I'll just point with the mouse so you can see what it looks like with the microphone turned off. Now, you all saw its shape, and it has a slash mark or a tilted line, which means it was off. When we click on it, it shows up with a green frame and a white inside. What does this indicate? When you're speaking into the microphone, that white color acts like sound vibrations. You can see it going up and down. Do you see it? Now, you'll find that the microphone. The white color here indicates that it's on, and there should be sound vibrations. Do you see when I stop talking, the white color decreases in sound frequency? When I speak, my voice continues. Now this part here can have issues. Some people face problems where they say, I have an issue with the microphone. I'm talking, but the students can't hear me. So what's the problem? Is it with the system? No. The more important part here is, are all the students in the class with you not hearing you or not? You need to ask yourself that question first. You have to ask that question first. Are all the students in the class not hearing me? If some can hear me and some can't, then the problem isn't with me. The problem is with those who can't hear me, because some can hear me, logically speaking. Some people face issues saying, I have a problem with the microphone. I'm talking and the students can't hear me. The key question is, are all students unable to hear you? Ask yourself that first. If some can hear and some can't, the issue isn't with you. It's with those who can't hear. If no one can hear, the problem is with the source. Upon entering, click and activate the microphone. If your voice still isn't heard, what should you do? In this case, everyone needs to pay attention. Are all the students in the department who are attending your lecture not hearing you or not? You must ask this question first. Are all the students in the department not hearing me? If some of them hear me and some of them don't, then the problem is not with me. The problem is not with me. The problem is with me. What is it that they are not hearing me? Because some of them hear me. This is logical. So, if no one can hear me, then the problem is with the source. The problem is with me. What does that mean? It means that as soon as I enter here, I have to click on the microphone and activate it. Now, let's say I clicked on the microphone and activated it, but my voice still isn't getting through. What should I do? In this case, you all need to pay attention to me. Do you see me pointing? I'm pointing here and zooming in. Do you see this symbol, which is the lock icon? You all, if you click on it, when should you click on it and open this view? We do this while we're in the session. While we're in the session, we open this icon and you'll notice, do you see it with me? Do you see it with me? It's showing me here. Camera, microphone, audio. Okay? What matters to me here is the microphone. It has to be activated like you see it. So, if I click on it now, what will happen? If I click on this microphone, what will happen? It won't activate and the sound will be lost. So, I need to make sure that the microphone is what? Activated and working. This part is important to me. Okay, there's also another place where we can make sure that we allow the virtual classroom to use the microphone. It uses the microphone. What is the problem with you? Browser you are using, such as Chrome. I need your permission to allow the virtual classroom to use this laptop's microphone. So we need to give permission to the browser. The browser is asking, do you allow the virtual classroom tool to use your microphone? You can use the microphone here, right? Now this has to happen from the browser's settings itself. So if you come now and click on those three dots, do you see those three dots? You open those three dots and you'll find something called settings. Do you see that? Those are the browser settings. You go to the browser settings, okay? When you open it, you'll choose something called privacy and security. You choose privacy and security. We're talking about the Chrome browser here. So we select privacy and security. After that, we scroll down to choose site settings. Site settings. No, this has to happen from the browser settings itself. So if you come now and look at those three dots, do you see those three dots? You open those three dots and you'll find something called what? Settings. Do you see the settings? Whose settings are these? They're the browser settings. You go to the browser settings. Open it and choose Privacy and Security. Select Privacy and Security. Select Privacy and Security, then scroll to Site Settings. Site Settings. These settings control the camera, microphone, etc. Choose Site Settings, then see Permissions. See Permissions? This means I have the camera and microphone. If I open the microphone, it shows the virtual classroom. This is how it looks. Click on it, it shows the microphone. This microphone gives options. Do you allow it? I've selected Allow for the microphone, meaning I've chosen for it to work. But there are other options like block. You might have set something to block and not realize. Here are the settings to control the camera and the microphone. We'll choose Site Settings, then scroll down. Permissions is for the camera and the microphone here. If I open the microphone, it will show me the program, which is the virtual classrooms. Clicking shows the microphone. It gives options. Do you allow it? I've selected Allow for the microphone, so it works. But there are other options. There's something called block. You might have set to block unintentionally. We need to go into these settings and check if the microphone is blocked. If it is, what do? We select Allow. Selecting Allow makes it work. The same idea applies to the camera. Allow the camera, but better to block unless. This is how it looks. If you come here and click here, it will show you the microphone. This microphone will give you a set of options. Do you allow it? Here, I've selected Allow for the microphone, meaning I've chosen for the microphone to work. But there are other options. There's something called block, so you might have set something to block and not realized it. So, we need to go into these settings and check if the microphone is blocked. If it is, what do? We select Allow. When we select Allow, it will work for us without any issues. The same idea applies to the camera. For the camera, we should allow it, but it's better to block it unless. If sure they need it, allow it. What does automatic request mean? When you open the virtual classroom, a browser message pops up asking, are you using the microphone? Say yes or no. Next, do you allow the use of the camera? Say yes or no. If not needed, keep the camera off. Use a sticker over the camera on your laptop, especially for female students or teachers. This prevents visibility through the camera. These are the settings to note. And then you'll get the next message asking, do you allow the use of the camera? You can say yes or no, depending on your needs. But regarding the camera, please, if you don't need it, don't turn it on. Or you can use a sticker, a simple sticker, and place it over the camera that's located at the top of your laptop screen. Especially for female students or teachers, they should take this sticker and put it over the camera, even if the camera is on and they don't realize it. This sticker prevents anything from being seen through the camera. This is regarding the settings I wanted to tell you about. Especially for female students or teachers, they should take this sticker and put it over the camera, even if the camera is on and they don't realize it. This sticker prevents anything from being seen through the camera. This is regarding the settings I wanted to tell you about.